Tech table. Tech table. Tech table.
Hello and welcome to the Tech Table, the Technical Staff and Theatre Workers podcast. It's the podcast in which I talk to people who work in the technical side of the entertainment industry about how they got in, their experiences and any advice they can give to anyone getting in. This is episode 7 of season 6. What a fantastic season we've had so far. We've had some really, really good feedback from the Q&A session we did last week, so we'll be doing more of those in the future, I'm sure. If you want to get in touch with us, it's techtablepod@gmail.com. The socials are all techtablepod. That's Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook, Threads and YouTube. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell anyone you know who's interested in the industry. And anyone who's not interested, because it might make them interested in the industry. And so, without further ado, let's get on to our next guest. I'm here with my guest at this time. If you'd like to introduce yourself and tell me what your current job title is.
Hi, I'm Sarah Waterman and I'm the Apprenticeships and Work Experience Manager here at the Royal Ballet and Opera.
Excellent. And how did you get into theatre?
Right. So I'm from Estuary, Essex, not very glamorous. First in my family to go to university, I did a drama and theatre studies degree at the University of Kent. I think I just it was the only A-level I really enjoyed at sixth form. Sort of found my tribe, if you like, I suppose. But I also really enjoyed art, and that was a brilliant degree because you could specialise in your fourth year, specialise in theatre design, but didn't really know that there were courses in theatre design. Someone encouraged me to put together a portfolio and apply for drama schools, for design courses. I applied to the Bristol Old Vic, the only one I applied to, and I got a place on the theatre design course. When I left that, I became freelance, and no one in my family had ever been to university, let alone been freelance, let alone worked in the arts, so it was a bit of a sort of, had no idea what to do. And so I tried to work like in small theatre companies and travelling all over the place with all my kit in the back of my car, sewing machine, carpentry kit, paint kit, the lot, for, a few years, and just ran out of money and just couldn't do it. And I just didn't have, the sort of, I don't know, it's like that, I call it social capital,
right?
Of, being able to network and all of those things.
Yeah, of course.
I became a teacher then, and I taught back in my old sixth form college in Grays in Essex. And that really sort of, through that, I developed a huge chip on my shoulder about all these young people that don't know that they can work in these amazing careers, that have got this talent, these skills. I was bringing kids up to the theatre that, it's half an hour by train and they'd never been to London, let alone to the theatre.
Yeah.
And I just developed this huge passion, I suppose, for, exposing young people to theatre and letting them know that they can work in a place like this, like the Royal Ballet and Opera. So I left teaching. I worked in teaching for 11 years, and then I teaching drama, theatre studies, BTEC performing and production arts, that sort of stuff. Then I came to work for the learning department here at the Opera House. An opening formed, and I took my opportunity, and I worked on the National Schools Programme for Design called Create and Design, and Design Challenge is the upper end. And then in 2021, this role came up, and I was just like, this is perfect, because it combines my sort of passion for like encouraging young people, sort of like those kind of teaching skills still, like working with young people pastorally, and then and also keeping involved in this amazing industry. And I get to sort of work with apprentices all over the organisation, from scenic carpentry and scenic art to social media. So we've got a whole range of apprentices here at RBO.
Excellent. A lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
What was your first show then that you worked on? Can you remember what your first show?
When I was a designer?
When you came out of college and you decided you wanted to do theatre, what was the first show that you remember working on that you got paid for?
Oh, that I got paid for.
Yeah.
My first paid gig was a design assist, actually, and weirdly it was an opera. And it was at the Gulbenkian Theatre in Canterbury, up the hill near the university, and I was just design assistant. It was Tosca, and the designer had made these. It was like there was a little opera festival weirdly at the Gulbenkian, and there were these huge flats. I remember them just like being giant, and I had to cover them in tinfoil in the baking sun. I remember.
Oh wow!
Yeah, but it was hardly any money, but like it was brilliant. I had a great time. We had to make it look like rusty metal, a load of tinfoil on flats. But yeah.
Excellent. So. Because you came out of college and you decided you wanted to do that, and you packed up all your stuff and you went around the theatres and whatever, did you find that in that sort of aspect of the industry, was it a struggle to get work? And do you think it may have been more of a struggle because you're a woman trying to do that?
That's interesting. I certainly had to learn how to talk to crews of men that were building stuff for me or installing stuff for me. You know, as a 5-foot blonde Essex girl, you kind of I absolutely beer bribes, but I think it was tough. I think it was tough just because I didn't come from a family background. I didn't know about networking, and to this day I hate networking. Absolutely. So it was really tricky, like talking to directors and stuff, and sort of trying to almost sell yourself your next role whilst you're, to your next job, whilst you're doing your current job, kind of thing. It's really tricky.
Excellent. So what would you say then, on the sort of almost flip side of that, are the pros and cons of working in this industry as a whole?
That there's that there's no 2 days the same. You say that about everything at the Opera House, but there are no 2 days the same. That you move from exciting thing to terrible thing, but it's all like character building, and just so many different experiences. And also, I just always loved that sort of scramble to the finish and something coming together. That is very much theatre, is the scrambling, and the, you look at the time you've got, and we're never going to do it in that time, and then somehow it ends up always happens. So let's go on to Theatrecraft. So Theatrecraft is the largest free careers event about theatre careers. Certainly in London, possibly in the country. It happens mostly on one day. The actual sort of tangible version of Theatrecraft. There's an online version of Theatrecraft as well, which happens in January, but it happens here in London on the 3rd of November, and it is free for young people to attend and find out all about careers and training routes in theatre.
Excellent. So if people want to come, do they have to register, or can they just turn up?
Yes, they do. Yeah. So they just need to go to theatrecraft.org, go to the website, register their place. It's all free. And then once they've registered, they can book themselves onto workshops, tours, talks here at the Royal Opera House in Covent Garden, and it's 7 other participating theatres across the West End.
Can you remember what they are?
No.
So just come to the Opera House is what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, come to the Opera House because that's where you register and you get your ticket.
And then you can just go
everywhere.
You get
your lanyard, and then you get the map and you get your programme for the day from the Opera House.
Excellent. And what's your role within Theatrecraft? So
I manage I'm on the steering group with my wonderful colleagues from Masterclass and Society of London Theatre, SALT UK. So I manage the sort of main sort of hub here. I do an event manager's job for a day, really.
Right.
And so I've also pulled together my brilliant colleagues in technical production and costume here at the Royal Ballet and Opera. And so we run, in the building there's a huge marketplace of theatres and colleges, even unions and things like that come to talk to young people about their offers and career routes and give them advice. So the whole building gets taken over for the day, and then I have organised with my colleagues in TP&C tours. So we have career-specific pathway tours, so like lighting, production that goes from our model room through to our build area onto the stage, props, a lighting tour, so that goes through all our lighting departments, sound video broadcast, one up in the flies and automation, and a live rehearsal watch with stage management. And then we've got workshops, like more interactive workshops happening in our Claw studio, which are in scenic art, costume making, there's a bit of a lighting systems geekery one, and stage management. And then at the end of the day, and this is the very exciting part, we invite everyone to side stage right, to watch a changeover happen on our stage, because we have this huge mechanised stage lift system. So every day at 2:30 we change the entire stage over from what was rehearsing on the stage, because we're a rep system, what was rehearsing on stage in the morning to what will be on for the public in the evening. So the people visiting Theatrecraft get to come and see that for free.
Cool.
And our head of stage, Rob Meloish, is going to narrate them through what is actually happening, explain the whole process of how it works, and then they'll get to ask questions of the crew afterwards. They'll step forward and they can ask them how they got into theatre.
Excellent. Fantastic. And so how long you've been at the Opera House for?
2018 I came here and worked for the Learning Department. I've been in this role since 2021.
So 8 years. So so that's going to be a lot of opera, a lot of ballet. So what's your favourite opera?
Oh, I like the the juicy ones. I think
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, like with lots of blood and gore, and I quite like Faust. It's quite a dramatic one. Yeah, but I'm always out. I'm in it for the sets, if I'm honest.
Right. Okay.
And the spectacular sets, and so as sets go, I really like Peter Grimes. It's bleak, but I like it.
Right. Okay. What's your least favourite?
I'm just not a huge ballet fan. I think the stories are a bit silly.
Fair enough. I can see that. Yeah, absolutely. Also,
not that I don't admire the athleticism of the dancers.
Yeah,
I mean,
very impressive. But
yeah,
also telling the story through medium of dance is a bit. I come from a musical theatre. It's all in your face shouting. So anyway, what advice would you give to anybody who's trying to get in to the industry?
Wow. I would say go initially for what you really want and what what your heart desires, I suppose. I would never put anyone off going for a design career, but I'd also say there are so many other careers around the designer that are equally as fulfilling and creative. Had I been able to tell my younger self, you could be a scenic artist and work in an amazing scenic art workshop in Purfleet, where we build our sets, and have a challenge every day and be restoring historic cloths as well as painting new stuff. I wish I'd had that advice, someone to tell me. And I think that go initially for the thing you want, but understand there are so many other routes in theatre and so many different pathways. Focus on the skills that you have, because you're multi-skilled. And you can turn your hand to different things. Yeah,
and also not just because you did scenic design and things like that. Mm-hmm. There's so many different aspects of scenery that you can work
absolutely.
in. If you do sound, there's so many different aspects of the sound industry and lighting and all that kind of thing. Yeah. If you have if you really want to do that part of the industry, there's loads of different jobs as well that you can go for.
Yeah, definitely.
Excellent. And that's all I've got for you. So thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hey, huge thank you to Sarah there. Really enjoyed talking to Sarah, and she showed me around the Opera House, which was really interesting. I've never been there before, so that was great. Thank you to all to listening. If you are interested in Theatrecraft and in what they're doing down there, get yourselves down to the Opera House. 10 o'clock in the morning it starts on the 3rd of November, so get yourselves down there and it'll be a great day. We'll be there as well, so you can come say hi to us. If you want to get in touch, it's techtablepod@gmail.com. If you want to get in touch via the socials, it's techtablepod, all on Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook, Threads and YouTube. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell anyone you know who's interested in the theatre and anyone who's not interested, because it might make them interested. So I hope you enjoyed that episode. Looking forward to next week, and until then, I shall see you all next week.